Today we're discussing Chapter 13, Design and Experiments. If we want to observe individuals and record data without intervention, we conduct an observational study. However, if we want to examine a cause and effect relationship between two or more variables, we must conduct an experiment. The individuals on which the experiment is done are called experimental units. If these units are people, they are called subjects. An experimental condition we apply to an experimental unit is called a treatment. The explanatory variables being evaluated, which may or may not cause changes in the response variable, are called factors. These factors may be applied at different levels. When designing an experiment, we want to minimize the effect of Lurkin variables so that our results are not biased. Because we may not be able to identify and eliminate all Lurkin variables, it is essential that we use a control group. The control group may receive a fake treatment to counter the placebo effect and/or any other Lurkin variables present. Having a control group allows us to compare the results of the treatments to no treatment at all. Principles of experimental design. We want the variation in the response variable to be only due to our chosen factor. 1. Control other variables, which may also influence the response variable. 2. Block to reduce variability from known sources of variation that cannot be controlled. 3. Randomize the assignment of units or subjects to treatments and the control group so that the unknown influences, Lurkin variables, are equalized or minimized. And 4, replicate the experiment on as many unit subjects as possible to reduce the effects of sample and variation on our results. Experimental design. Step 1, choose the different treatments. Identify the factors and their levels. Include a control group if possible. Step 2, randomly assign the experimental units to the treatments. Use block-in or match pairs when appropriate. Step 3, analyze and compare the results from the different treatments. An effect or experimental result is called statistically significant if it is too large to be the result of chance or sample and variation. If an experiment is well designed, a statistically significant association between the factor and the response variable does imply causation, since the effects of all other variables and sources of variation are controlled or minimized. Even a well-designed experiment can sometimes still have hidden bias in the way it is conducted, so it is extremely important to handle the subjects or units in exactly the same way. One way to avoid hidden bias is to conduct a double-blind experiment. In a double-blind experiment, neither the subjects nor the people who have contact with them know which treatment the subject has received. Types of experimental design. Completely randomized. Design all subjects are randomly assigned to the treatment groups. Block design. Subjects are first split into groups called blocks. Subjects within each block have some common characteristics. For example, gender, age, education, ethnicity, etc. Then within each block, subjects are randomly assigned to a treatment group. Matched pairs design. There are two treatments. In each block, there are either a single subject receiving both treatments, the order of the treatments is randomized, or a pair of similar subjects, each receiving a different treatment. The assigned treatments are randomized.